I explained before what are global and systemic exercises. I'm just gonna go through it quickly again. Global are the ones that have one, two, or more aspects of the game, like dribbling, passing, controlling, attacking the space, moving off the ball, etc., in one same drill. Systemic exercises are the exercises that a coach needs to reproduce exact situations that are going to happen in the game and are going to depend on the system. For example, a 4-2-3-1, he needs the defensive midfielders to behave like that. So he needs an exercise where the team is building up from behind, so he can have that exact situation that he would have in the game, so he can correct those movements, for example. So why is it important? Why is it important to have a balance between global and systemic exercises in a training session? And why am I mentioning this? I'm mentioning this because as a mentor, I've watched a lot of sessions where from coaches that only use global exercises, and then from coaches that only use systemic exercises. I have a mentee, and he just switches teams from one club to the other. And in his previous team, he had a lot of global exercises, only global exercises, and he moved to a new team, and that coach only uses systemic exercises. And he's noticing a major difference between one environment to the other environment. Why? That's where I got the idea for that question, because I saw, this is very weird, because any of those coaches are realizing what's happening with their teams. And it's very interesting because their teams present the same idea of what the coach wants them to do, but they execute it completely different because they're trained only in global, only in systemic. So let me explain. In global exercises, players touch the ball more often and more times. That lowers frustration levels after a bad play and raises confidence levels due to being able to try more ideas in similar situations. Again, in global exercises, for example, a possession drill, 6v6 plus 2, okay? If I receive the ball and I lose the ball, my team is there pressing again, and I can just recover the ball and play again from the same situation I had before, right? It's not impossible or even unlikely that the same situation that I just lost the ball is not going to happen again. It's probably going to happen again because it's a very limited exercise, just 6v6 plus 2 in a square. So it's basically the same. It's receiving the ball, moving, finding support, generating superiority, attracting opponents and getting out. So it's the same situation repeating over and over and over again. So if I miss one time, I know I'm going to have a lot more opportunities to make it better again, right? So I'm not that frustrated when I miss something. And that lower level of frustration on me when I miss something allows me, the player, to try more things in the same drill. For example, I can try to solve a 2v1 by fixing and passing. I can try to solve a 2v1 by fixing and keep dribbling and fake the pass and keep dribbling, etc., etc., etc. Right? So global exercise lowers frustration levels from the players. Okay. In systemics exercise, players touch the ball less often and less times, which could raise frustration levels and lower confidence levels. So the problem with that team that only uses systemic exercises is that after the training session, you realize that the player only touched the ball 5 times on that exercise. And that's very bad because we all know that a player, so he can learn, he has to touch the ball, right? So, but also he has to know how to play the game, and that's what systemic exercises are for, right? To reproduce the exact system the coach wants. So I'm not saying systemic exercises are bad. I'm just saying that you should have a balance between them, because systemic exercises are for one thing and global exercises are for another thing. So it's not one rather than the other. It's both of them. Buying different stuff, it means first he knows he's going to have a new ball. He knows that situation is going to repeat itself. He knows he's going to have another opportunity. He knows the game is cyclic. So again, global exercise allow the players to have more freedom and a little more Don't confuse that with a loose environment. It's not that. It's just that the situation is going to repeat more times, so you have more opportunities to try your stuff. Period. Based on the concept the coach wants, of course. Okay. In systemic exercises, they demand more concentration since the situations are harder to solve. It's the coach's job to guarantee high intensity and concentration in global exercises and to make sure players aren't frustrated and losing confidence in systemic exercises. So again, global exercises, you're going to correct what? Global things like movement off the ball, like control towards the space, attack the space, support, create numerical superiority, attract the opponents and move the ball out of the pressure, etc., etc., etc. Systemic exercises. Why is the coach going to correct? The exact systemic move he wants the players to execute in the game relating to the situations he wants to work on. So systemic exercises are very different from global exercises and generate a whole different psychological adaptation from the players. And it's important that a coach understands that. Okay, balance between global and systemic will lead to a team that knows from global how to execute the basic and global concepts of the game and transfer them without frustration, with confidence and comfortable to the game situation in systemic exercise where they have to execute the exact movements the coach needs to be executed in those situations. For example, bringing the ball all the way from the back to the midfield. I need my center backs to be open. I need my two defender midfielders to work as a pendulum, right? Whatever. So if I only use systemic exercise, I'm going to have a team that executes the movements, but they are not calm enough to maintain possession. They're not calm enough to move the team forward. They do not have enough experience to deal with the different scenarios that are going to grow from the situations in the systemic moves in the game. If I only train in global exercises, I'm going to have a team that knows how to do the basic concepts of the game, but they do not know how to solve the big situations of the game, such as building up from behind all the way from the goalkeeper to the midfield, how to break the defender's organization when you're right in front of their box with calm and patience, etc., etc. So you need to have a balance between global and systemic exercises. Okay, that's why you need to have a balance between them.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, check my other videos on the same channel, the Soccer Excellence Mentor. Lots of free content for you as a soccer coach, as a soccer player, as a soccer club. Follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, the Soccer Excellence Mentor, and let's all drive our performance towards excellence.